Leeds. I am Alex Simon. Good afternoon, at least here in America. It is 1:42 p.m. on the East Coast of the States. Wanted to give everybody a quick update, by the way. Please smash the like as you come in. Thank you so much we're, I think, close to 600 subscribers. And I know those 600 subscribers are true fans. So, and I think we've gotten like 1,400 or so views on our long form discussions with the Canucks, the Canadians, and Gier. And so, if more people like or more people subscribe, then I think the audience will grow. But I wanted to give everybody an update. I have gotten just incredibly busy with my schedule. I am literally every hour of every day is pretty much accounted for. So I am going to be just focusing on long form content from here on out. So I'm just going to be doing long form conversations, podcasts with Michael Gier and Brendan and anyone else who was in our Leeds fan ecosystem. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So I apologize for the delay of uploads and the consistency of content. That's just where I'm at. So I don't know if it'll be weekly or every other week, but basically, please continue to follow the channel. Also, follow me at American and Leeds on Twitter. That's where I'm probably more active because it's just easier to tweet stuff. But there's just been some life changes that have been going on with me. So I am going to continue the channel, of course, but we'll be just doing long form content, long form podcasts with Gier, Michael, and Brendan. So I like to talk about Leeds. That's my main thing. I'm not big into the rumor mill. If you're into the rumor mill, follow Gier. He's the best in the business on that. If you're into tactical analysis, there's a ton of people out there for that. I just like to have a chin wag with the boys and find out what's going on at the club. So, look, I want to review Chelsea. I haven't really had a chance to talk about it, but I thought it was a 1-0 battering. I thought that the score line could have been higher, specifically in the first 30 minutes. And then, after that 30 minutes where we held on, we bend, but we didn't break. I think we started to see some elements of Grazia ball. There was a moment where we played out of the back where we had controlled possession of the ball, and we had a shot on target. Jerry's convinced Ryan Kinn is going to come. Well, we'll see, Martin. We'll see. So I think there's been flashes of legitimate possession on ball system. If you follow Michael's been talking about this all the time. We've lacked an on-ball system for almost a year now, and these players are so drilled in Red Bull. I give the example of Tyler Adams. He has been in Red Bull his entire career since he was 16. Red Bull New York. I don't believe he went to Salzburg, but Red Bull Leipzig, and then Jesse Marsch ball at Leeds. So he has to grow. We know he's got an iron lung. We know he can run for 90-plus minutes. We know he's great at tackling and taking defenders off, but he's going to have to grow. Weston McKennie is a different beast as we continue to see those two Americans kind of partner with Javi, because I think they are both defensive, but I think Weston is a true box-to-box. A lot of people haven't rated him, but again, it's tough to judge Weston McKennie in this massively defensive system that we're now employing, as well as the one game that he played under Jesse Marsch. So I think you know, if we were judging Weston McKennie in a open system like Marcelo Bielsa had the beautiful game, we might be saying different things. So it just takes some of these player ratings where I think there was a lot of blame the last few weeks on players. Take the player ratings with salt because they're playing in multiple systems now. Neither of these systems, really, the Red Bull system and now the Javi system, is a beautiful game type of possession based, keep away. Martin says I've lost faith. We need to grow we need good owners with a plan and an approach and method and means. Yeah, well, I'm right there. I think hopefully in the summer the ownership changes hands. It's levels. I mean, it's levels with everything. It's not just levels with the players, it's levels with the owners too. So, um, yeah, so I just wanted to kind of say that about the players, about all of the players. It's tough to rate them really until we get a larger sample size. And that goes with some of the younger players. We're playing a really young front line now with you know, uh, so Willie Yanto typically starts Crescencio Somerville and now Ruter because Bamford is made of glass. Jackie Harrison, he's looked really bad. That was his worst game for me in a Leeds shirt. Probably needs to spell out. I don't know if it's mental. I don't know if it's transitioning between the wing and the 10 and he doesn't know. He's stuck in two minds, but his crossing was so bad. His crossing was so bad in the Chelsea game where he's had actual opportunities on the ball and he could not deliver a cross. Set pieces are really bad. When we get set pieces, it's just so frustrating. Set pieces we do need to, we're so, you know, impotent on set pieces and not just corners. I'm talking about when we get a ball around the box and we can't put a cross in, it's not even close. Forget trying to put a shot on goal. So I don't know. That's a frustrating thing that's been going on for years. So I'm not judging Javi. I'm not even really judging the players yet. But here's the other thing I want to talk to you guys about. Um, I might have to plug in my headset so you guys can hear me better. But you know, well, I haven't lost my train of thought. Anyways, oh, we deserve to go. This is the painful reality. We, based on our ownership, hopefully you guys can hear me. Based on our ownership, deserve to go down. We deserve to go down based on form, ownership. The winnable games have kind of passed us by. So my expectations, I'm prepared to face the reality of a possible championship relegation. It's going to take a lot of effort to get us out of where we are. Winning against Brighton is going to be very difficult. It's going to be very difficult. So, and the upcoming fixture list. So I'm just kind of like, we kind of deserve to go down. I'm not, based on form and wins and just our systems, I'm not really optimistic, but I'm trying to be a realist here. I'm not trying to be overly negative. Of course, we can always get results. I believe that the team has, I don't believe the team's given up. they're certainly trying to put in shifts. Yeah, and I think that's the main thing. So Chelsea, I thought was a 1-0 battering. I thought the scoreline was generous. Unlike Fulham was probably harsh to be 2-0. Javi for me is 1-1. You can't really judge the Fulham game because of the changes, and it's a cup game, so I'm taking that with a little bit of salt. I'm also taking the salt of the players. Again, it's tough to judge these players in multiple systems in a short time span. And specifically Weston McKennie and Ruter, those are two players where it's too early, and Weston is a highly rated player, and if he was in a different system, a beautiful system like a Bielsa system, he might thrive as much as Calvin Phillips. Well, maybe not as much as Calvin Phillips, but he would certainly thrive. I do rate his distribution of the ball, so just be mindful of that. Winning in Brighton would be difficult, but I tell you what, it would be massive if we getting wins. I mean, we would just. This scrap is just, it's so close, and the teams that are able to get wins can start to pull away. And then I think, I just am of the opinion that we deserve to go down based on the management of the club in the last 12 months, allowing Jesse to continue for as long as he did, not finding a manager for 3 games, and then and then deploying this kind of defensive system. It's like a Spanish. If this is live, how come it's not dark there? It's 2:00 in the afternoon in America. I am not in Leeds. I should say that. Let's see here, and that's it. I'm focusing on long form content from here on out. This is my only kind of short video that I'm going to be doing. Solo video. I'm just going to be focusing on trying to have chats with the boys. And again, this is just because it's not going to be necessarily weekly, but every other week. So just hang with me, subscribe. And the best way to follow myself and all the lads, the boys that we have in our network, and my Leeds network, is at American Leeds on Twitter. I don't have any expectations. Thanks, Bowie. I don't have any expectations of Leeds, really. I struggle. I'm going in with no pressure, if that makes any sense. We've been in we've basically been in a relegation scrap for a year. We survived last year, and we're rolling the dice again for me. So if it's a coin flip, and that's what it feels like, I know it's a coin flip. I know it's 50-50. So the reality is we could go down. The reality is that we could stay up. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. My crystal ball is broken. I like that the players haven't given up. I like that players continue to try and put in shifts. There is a confidence issue going forward, but that also has to do with employing a new on-ball system that these guys just have not had. They have not had an on-ball system. I'd say we're going down pretty awful teams around. Somehow Jesse Marsh was able to hoodwink the board. Yeah, it was Liverpool. Long live Brad Rosani. I'm an American. I've been an American fan since 2015, right before it was the Gary Monk year, and Chris Wood was banging them in, and it was good football, and we had a chance to go to the playoffs. But there's just levels to this, and they're not at they're great championship owners. Massimino was owning the club at 100%, I believe. Raz came in,
built up, scaled up, and took the team over. Look, I just think there's levels to it. If we're going to kick on to a consistent Premier League club, the it does need to change hands. A lot is on the line, not just for Rad Rosani, but these players. Um, the 49ers seem to be bought in based on the January window. I just think, unfortunately, and again, because I'm an American, I can say this from my perspective, the Marsh appointment feels like more of a gimmick. And thus it's on Orta. I think that Jesse Marsh, he wasn't a slouch. I remember in the fall people were asking me, is he a one-trick pony? I said, I don't think he's a one-trick pony, but I don't think he has many more than 2 or 3 tricks. He doesn't have a lot of ways to adapt within a game that aren't easily figured out. So, but it was so clearly not working out, and I don't think he was at the level to be a Premier League manager. Michael and I talked a lot about how Jesse was learning on the job, and Michael would always say, this is not the league for that. It's not the league for learning on the job. And the appointment went on too long. I mean, you really have to look at Victor Orta. The buck kind of stops with Victor and Raz. It is time. So there's 2.5 months left of the season. I like Javi. I like that he plays things close to the vest. I just, I think he's a good man. I shrug at my shoulders because maybe Jesse was a good guy too. A little bit of a used car salesman, but it's not. It's we're not in control of our own destiny as much as we could have been, and that's the most disappointing part. So I will be tuning in to Leeds at the weekend, hoping that we get a win. 49ers would help, exactly, Bandy, greatly with the facilities at our club. It's disappearing. Sorry, I'm on my phone. Angus Kinnear, he's the empty suit, the PR man, and I don't know, he also handles finance and HR, and he's the spin doctor. So I don't know how the hell he ever survived the logo debacle. Like, people usually get real at high, corporations. The marketing guy usually gets clipped for that, and that's who he is. Somebody had to have, whether they were lying to him or then he doesn't have a good pulse on his staff. Something should have happened to Angus after all that, and there was several other kind of like embarrassing PR moments throughout the club's kind of history with Angus. So I don't know, but obviously Rads likes him, because if Rads didn't like him, I think he would find another person. But as far as the rest of the season goes, I think that we have a puncher's chance. Scoring goals worries me. I like the fact that we've gotten more defensive, and I'm not going to, because I feel like we're all going to start putting the blame on the players. The players are not to blame here if things start to go, if we start to continue to get into the relegation zone. Players are not to blame for me. I rate the players individually. It's going to be on the board. And, if we get deeper in a relegation zone, it's about time for some protests. It's about time for some sack the board, which there's been a little bit of, but it always seems to be like they get a player. Like recently, they've gotten a player in the last home game. They appointed Javi, so there was no protest there. We're not in the relegation zone right now, so I don't think there'll be any kind of protests or gargoyles at the gates or whatever you want to say this weekend, but it's about time for some more heat on the board, because they always seem to kind of save their skin at the last minute. So that's where I'm at. Marching on together. Leeds. Let's get 3 points. In Javi we trust. And hopefully Rodrigo comes back. Cine comes back. He has more chap there. He has more choices, and we can continue to, be solid at the back and be a little bit more lethal offensively. Boy, it would be nice to just have an outpouring of some of this frustration and get a couple of goals. Have a good day, everybody. Marching on together. Leeds. American and Leeds on Twitter. That's the best way to follow me. Next time you will see me will be a long-form podcast with Jir and Michael and the Canadians and other folks that we can have a long-form discussion about Leeds. Hope you're well. Be well. Treat each other kindly. Thank you.